Hello and welcome to Spring Dependency Injection example with annotations. With me, Nam Haming from CodeJava.net. In this video tutorial, I will help you understand how to use Java annotations, Spring annotation to configure dependency injection for classes in a Spring application. Let's start with a typical scenario in a Spring application development. This is a class diagram. You see we have the class clan A and the service interface with different implementations, service B, service C, and service D. The clan A class uses the interface service, and so it has a reference to the service interface here, and we can have different implementations of uh, service B, service C, and service D. The client A doesn't care about the actual implementations. It cares only that it works with any object that implements the service interface. And this is a code example. This is a code of the client A class, and this is a code of the service interface. You see, the service interface defines only one method, getInfo, and in the client A class it has a reference to the service interface, and an implementation of service will be injected into this class via constructor. You see, and in the do something method, it invokes the getInfo method of the service, and this is the code of the service B class, an implementation of service interface, and service C class and service D class. And in this video tutorial, I will show you how to create a simple Spring application with these classes and use annotation to configure dependencies. And here's how to use Spring annotation to configure dependency injection for classes. First, we can use the component annotation, SI component annotation, to mark a class as a bin. And when the Spring framework scans the class, and if it found that this class is marked with component annotation, it will create an instance of this class and manage as a bin in the container. And similarly, we can use component annotation for the service class implementation here for the service B class, and we can use the service annotation. Note that the service has similar meaning, has the same meaning as a component annotation. It has different names to be used with classes in different layers of the application. And then we can use the repository annotation to mark a class as a bin. And technically, component, service, and repository has the same meaning. they have different names to mark classes in the different layers of the application. For example, you can mark a class in the service layer or in the repository layer. And to inject a bin to another bin, we can use the auto while annotation before the setter method, constructor, or an instance views of the class. Here we can use the auto while annotation for the constructor of the class. So when Spring creates an instance of this clone A class, it will find bin has name service and automatically injects it into this class. For example, if the service B class uh, is annotated with the component annotation and the name is service, Spring will inject the instance of this class to this uh, object of the clone A. You see, so using Spring annotation makes the work easier than using XML annotation. Sorry, than XML configuration. Now let's create a simple project in Eclipse IDE. By new Maven project and check the option create a simple project. Next, enter the project's information. Group ID is net.code.java. Artifact ID is Spring Dependency injection annotation. Click finish. You see, this Java Maven project has been generated. Change the ARE system library to Java 8 and close. Now open the Maven project object management file, the pom.xml file, and we need to add a dependency for Spring Framework so we can use dependency injection. Click add. Group ID is ORG Spring Framework. Artifact ID of the dependency is Spring context. Okay, and you see we add a dependency here for Spring context. Save the file. Sorry, we also need to specify the version. Now the version, listed version of Spring is 5.0.7. release. Save the file, and you see Maven automatically downloads the required Java files and set them in the class path. You see, this is the minimum requirement to use dependency injection with Spring. Next, let's create a Java package and write the code for the classes. Click here, new package, net.code.java. First, we create an interface for the client. This interface defines only one method or do something, and we have an implementation of this interface is a client A class A interface client. Okay, finish, and now create the service interface service, and this interface defines only one method, string get info. And now in the client A class we have a reference to the service interface service, and it do something method. It invokes the get info method of the service object service get info string info, and print the info to the standard output. Now let's create a constructor to inject an instance of service to this class. Source generate constructor using views. Okay. You can see the client class doesn't know about any actual implementation of service interface, because it works only via the interface. The actual implementation is passed into this class via its constructor. Now let's create an implementation of service interface. Say class B, service B, service B. Each super interface is service. Okay, finish. And this method returns service B info. Now let's use Spring annotation. For the client A class, we use the component annotation, and use the auto y annotation for the constructor. In the component annotation, we specify the name of the bin to be managed in the Spring container. Here we specify the name of the bin of the client A class is, for example, client 1. And let's annotate the service B class. We can use the component annotation, and its name is service. In the client A, we use auto y for the constructor here, and notice that the name of the parameter here must match the name of the component we specify here. Okay, now let's create a simple Java program to load the bin container. To load the bins, uh, right click here, new class, and Spring Dependency injection annotation. Check here to create the main method. Okay. And to load, to scan Spring annotated class C. With Spring, we use the annotation config application context. Annotation config application context in Spring. App context equal new. And scan specify package for the annotated classes. This annotation config application context is used to scan annotated classes and create the bins to be managed in the container. So we specify our package is net.code.java, and after that we need to refresh the application context. Refresh. And now we can use the getBin method of the application context to retrieve instance of a bin. Context getBin. The bin name, here you want to get the bin name service client 1, which is an instance of class client A. Client 1 here. And it returns object of type client 1 equal, and as cast to client. Now we can invoke the do something method of the client object client 1 do something. And we expect that it will print in our configuration, it will print the information from service B class, service B info. Now let's run the program. Run as Java application. You see, it prints service B info. So far so good, right? And Spring also makes it easier to use annotation in client A. You can remove the constructor and use only the auto while for the instant views. Okay. Now let's run the program again. Sorry. Run as Java application. You see, it also brings service B info. So it's very simple to use Spring annotation, right? Now let's create another implementation of service interface. For example, service C. Service C. Its super interface is service. Okay, finish. And this return service is info. Now let's annotate this class with the you can use a service annotation. Sorry, service Sorry, because this we already have service interface in our project, so we need to use fully qualified name of the service annotation. Okay, give it a name as, for example, service 2. Now in the program you can get that bin service 2 like this. Get bin service 2. This return a service object service 2 equal, and call it method get info, print to the standard output. Now let's run this program again, the application. You see it prints service B's info and service C's info. So far so good, right? Of course, if you want to change the implementation of service for the client A class, you have to change the name here. Change the name to service 1 and change the name of service to here to service to match the name of the instance field in the client A class. Now let's run the program again. Sorry. You see it prints service C's info, which is from this code. That means the client is now using different implementation and no bin name service 2 because we have changed the name of the service. Change the name here to 1 and run the program again. You see it prints service C's info and service B's info. So far you have learned how to use Spring annotation to configure dependency injection with Spring framework. And you see it's very simple and easier than to use XML configuration. Just annotate the classes with component annotation and auto-while annotation. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.